What if the very thing that made you successful is also what made it harder for someone to love you? Because ambition doesn't just shape careers, it also shapes relationships. And sometimes it quietly teaches us how to survive without needing anyone. Welcome back to my returning viewers. If you're new here, I'm S.W. Bayless, storyteller and romance author. And today we're looking at the ABCs of romance. In this series, we're looking at the building blocks that make romance stories and relationships so compelling. We'll move through the alphabet one letter at a time, exploring the themes like ambition, becoming, chemistry, forgiveness, trust, vulnerability, and everything in between. So let's get started. Today we're looking at A, ambition. When people hear the word ambition, they usually think about careers, promotions, titles, success. But I think ambition is so much deeper than that. Ambition is about becoming. It's the quiet decisions to build a life with intention, to pursue your own brand of excellence, to create opportunities when there weren't any at all. And that's beautiful. But ambition also changes the way people experience love. And here's the part I don't think we talk about enough. When you've spent years becoming self-sufficient, you naturally become very good at depending on yourself. One of the things I find most interesting with ambitious people is that they often become experts at problem solving, planning, leading, adapting. Professionally, those are incredible skills. They're also incredible strengths. But relationships don't always reward those skills or talents. Love isn't about managing a project. It asks for trust, patience, presence, and sometimes it even asks us to admit when we don't have all the answers. This is why ambition appears so many times in romance novels. Not because ambition is the problem. It couldn't be further from the truth. But because it creates meaningful emotional choices. Think about stories when someone must decide between the dream job and staying close to the person they love. Or the stories where two successful people discover that making room for someone else is a lot more harder than building the career. This is where romance stories become surprisingly honest. Those aren't stories about choosing love over ambition. They're stories about learning to carry both. This theme appears throughout my own stories. In Reviving Us, professional success doesn't erase the emotional wounds that Marcus and Jasmine experience. In The Table for Two, Aisha Chevalier and Damian Reed are both accomplished successfully. Neither struggles because they lack ambition. They struggle because vulnerability requires a different kind of courage. In the last video, we discussed the movie Napa Ever After. We saw Cassandra arrive at the Napa Vineyard. She was focused on reviving the winery that her grandmother had initially created. But In that story, she had no part of her agenda on love. But sometimes that's when the most meaningful stories begin. Not when people are looking for love, but when life interrupts the plans that you've made. I don't believe ambition makes people less capable of love. I also don't think love asks ambitious people to dream smaller. I think it changes what they need. They aren't searching for someone to rescue them. They're searching for someone who respects what they've built without asking them to become smaller. Someone who celebrates their success while also creating space where they don't have to perform all the time. Because sometimes the strongest people simply want someone they can rest with. So maybe the question isn't, can ambitious people find love? Maybe the better question is, how do ambitious people learn to make room for it? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think ambition strengthens relationships or makes vulnerability more difficult? Tell me in the comments. If you enjoyed today's conversation, I'd love if you subscribe and join me for the rest of the ABCs of romance. In our next episode, we'll explore the letter B, belonging. Because before two people can truly build a relationship, they often have to answer one quiet question. Where do you feel most at home?